Oh, thank you very much for staying with us here on Euros Today. And loads of stuff to talk about when, the protege went up against his all-time idol. I'm talking about the Kylian Mbappe, Cristiano Ronaldo situation. It was so sad seeing Pepe break down in tears, seeing that he couldn't wrap up what has been a sterling career or a sterling run with the national team on a high. But all in all, these two lads, I'm talking about Cristiano Ronaldo and that big partnership with Pepe has worked so well with the Portuguese national team, and they have to be celebrated every stretch of the imagination. But look at the game in general, and what do you make of it? That's where I'd want to start off. I'd like to start off, with Mubarak. Mubarak is here with me in the studio. Mubarak, good to see you, man.
It's a pleasure to be here now.
Great. And so, ahead of the very big game, there are a lot of conversations about how, how France was slightly rated ahead of Portugal, right?
Yeah, I said it here. You just quoted me. I told you that France were slightly ahead of Portugal, and this is because they are defensively disciplined, organized at the back, and then their only challenge was to put the ball into the back of the net. But even if they don't score, they've proven in this competition that they could force errors from defenders, so they could be beneficiaries of own goals. And so that is the story of France. For Portugal, I wasn't so convinced with their performance overall. I felt they secured a hard-fought win over Czech Republic in their first game. And then in the second game, they won by 3-0, but that was a peculiar situation. The back pass clearly disorganized the Turkish backline, and they look dispirited ever since they considered that own goal. Now, you look at their last game against Georgia, they were not so convincing. They lost by 2-0. And then in the round of 16 against Slovenia, their performance wasn't so up to the mark. The game had to progress to penalties, and that is when they were able to secure the win. And so, by and large, you look at the performance of the two teams, France were slightly ahead, like I said, and then I was proven to be right. Ronaldo, Daniel is here, I don't want to say much, but I said it doesn't take an elephant to win a battle. I said it here last Friday. It doesn't take an elephant to triumph in battle. And indeed, that happened. I was very impressed with France. They of course, they were not so convincing. We all know the two teams are below par. They are not performing as expected. But France, they just have that belief, that confidence in them that whenever they go to a tournament, they are just the favorite. And their mind, the bare minimum is to get to the semifinals. And I think that's really came to the fore over the weekend.
Well, belief and wanting to achieve is what you say has done the trick for France. Danny K, good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
Very disappointing considering...
New haircut.
Yeah, I just spotted the new haircut. Well, after the tournament, we're all going to cool off in Lisbon, Portugal, and Danny K is sponsoring us in your hometown of Lisbon, Portugal. Yeah.
But how about we pass over the trip?
No. Look, it was a tough game, almost too difficult to predict, but a few lessons learned from that game. What will be those lessons for you?
For me, it followed the trend. Games between these two teams are usually very highly contested. We saw the Euro 2016 final, which went all the way to extra time. Last Euros, again, they faced each other. Very hard for a 2-2 draw. This one, again, ended a draw in about 120 minutes, and it went into penalties. Penalties can go either way, so it's not really cast in stone that once it goes to penalties, one team is over the other. So for me, follow the trend, and even by virtue of the fact that this is sort of an upset against Portugal, just for me shows.
According to who, Daniel?
No. According to the reports and
Karim
the headlines.
brought the
Because
Opta
when you were
stats
talking,
here.
I wasn't talking. Let me finish there. Thank you. So according to the headlines and the things we are seeing, obviously, it's sort of an upset. One of the powerhouses in Europe is out. And for me, that is testament of the greatness of Ronaldo. Because before he came in, Portugal against France will not be having a game that we'll be talking about. So I think it's full of... In fact, that reminds me, in the Euro 2000, the semi-final, France and Portugal faced, it was France winning by a golden goal. So these games are always very highly contested. And for me, the quite unfortunate thing from the side note was Ronaldo's record ending. That is 11 consecutive major competitions scoring a goal. finally comes to an end. He's about 4 clear of the nearest contestant. That is Asamoah Gyan, our very own Asamoah Gyan. So for me, these sort of records, obviously, you don't expect them to be broken now. But it's always nice when the person extends it. But that aside, I think that once it went into penalties, it was either of the two. And France were really good in their kicks. Portugal, unfortunately, Joao Felix couldn't hit the target. But these things happened. And on a whole, when you put aside the two teams and the rest, the fact that Ronaldo earlier in the competition said this could be his last Euros, it was kind of sad. Not sad to see him leave, but the fact that when he was walking off, we'll probably never see Ronaldo in the Euros again. That's where the sadness was from.
There was a little worry as well. Kylian Mbappe, the injury that had to force him, onto the bench. We're not too sure what the situation is like resuming, into the semi-final stage.
I don't think it's that serious. To be frank, he wasn't having the best of games. That substitution, whether it was injury, whether it was tactical, was necessary. I don't think it's that serious. I think he trained yesterday, so I don't. As to whether he'll be fit for the semi-final, I think there's a high chance he will be fit for that semi-final. And they need him, in as much as he's not had the best of competitions. There are some players that you don't necessarily loudly moan about when they are not playing well, because it's just about that one moment and it clicks back. And he's one of them. So once he's fit, once they have him, I think in that semi-final, it's still very open.
All right, so we go back to the Portugal story. And one of the beautiful things is this relationship between Pepe and Ronaldo, which they have grown from the level of the national team through to club football. I mean, they played together at Real Madrid and all of that. And they see themselves telling a similar story in terms of closing the curtain on their respective careers for the national team at this time. That should also, in a way, by extension, give a bigger lesson to the younger generation who are approaching about creating these relationships, making sacrifices for each other, stepping back and letting one shine, and all of that. All those lessons are there in the Ronaldo-Pepe story.
Yes, I think having a good relationship in camp is very important. You could have the quality, you could have the work ethic, you could have the talent, but if you have the rapport with your teammates, it elevates your performance. That is very, very key. It's very, very important. And it's something that we've really complained about from the Ghanaian viewpoint. Those who were born outside Ghana, once they come into the Black Stars and they are not performing up to the mark, mostly it's attributed to the Ghanaian culture, because the players can't feel, they don't feel Ghanaian because they were not here. And once they are in camp, they don't even feel that relationship, that rapport with their teammates. For example, you look at the team at the moment, look at the way Kamal Dean is clicking with Kudus and Fatawi Isahako. That kind of rapport is very, very essential in a football team. And I'm very happy that Pepe and Ronaldo, they have that kind of relationship. They've been in the team for quite a while. Pepe himself, he's been super in this tournament at age 41. His performance, his tackles, interceptions, the way he reads the game as a defender, that is as good as scoring for a striker. And I think it really helped this Portuguese team a lot, those two players.
Great stuff indeed. Let's just go back for the moment, and after that, we'll now look at what we should be expecting from Portugal in subsequent subsequent competitions with these two big figures not around, and then most importantly, look at France, who are there in the competition and have one team to clear, possibly en route to the big final. A moment any player would want to live and relive, converting your penalty well. And, let's quickly do something here. What would you go for? Power or placement in penalties?
Power.
You go for power?
Yeah,
what's your reason?
Penalty shootout, I'll go for power. It's been 120 minutes, you are tired, your mind is tired, your body is tired. Trying to go precise might be too tiresome for the mind and the body to execute. So just go for power. That's the safest thing. Go for power.
Mubarak, power or placement?
Well, as a footballer, not a professional footballer, as a footballer,
I tell you, you're always a wasted talent. You're a wasted talent. You should have...
It will happen, it will happen.
No, it's too late.
Now, I'll go for placement.
Tell me why.
Yes, because with power, once the goalkeeper gets it right, you would miss. But once you take your time, have a look at the goalkeeper, have a look at the ball with correct precision, you are going to be the goalkeeper no matter what. Even if the goalkeeper gets it right, but with the kind of precision you have into the bottom corner or into the top corner, it's very difficult for the goalkeeper to catch.
Okay. Power or placement. We've given you a subject for a very hot debate that will come up sometime soon somewhere. Maybe we should put this on X one of these days on our X Spaces and see how things are going to go. You know, the subject of penalties is a very, very broad one, and it gets very tense, it gets very heated, and depending on the situation, for Ghana, one of the biggest days internationally is 2009 when Ajiman Bedu stepped up to score and win against Brazil for Ghana and Africa to get their first Under-20 FIFA World Cup title. So penalties are always a big deal. There's no question about that. All right, so France, are there in this semi-final looking for a place in the final to replicate the feat of the year 2000 when they won it under Roger Lemaire. But let's focus on Portugal a little more. Danny K, where do we go from here?
Look, the chunk of this team is super talented. It's a super talented group. I think it's just on to the next. It's not like you now need to start rebuilding. Now, this story is very different from what happened in 2004 when Luis Figo's generation was on a decline and now they had to start all over again. This time, this team is built on the young guys, young upcoming group. It's just Ronaldo, Pepe, Rui Patricio, who are in more than 5 competitions for Portugal. So if those guys fade out, the guys who are in there represent the majority. For me, it's just about on to the next. And they have enough. The only position that I'll be a bit worried about to be up front. But it's not something they can't work with. They have Jota. Some people don't have strikers at all. They have Jota, they have Goncalo Ramos, it's not up to the level of Ronaldo. Obviously, you not get somebody who is up to the level of Pepe, but you can get people who you can work with and still win competitions. For me, I am happy that Ronaldo's legacy will live on. It will live on because for the first time in Portuguese football history, and I say it from a Portuguese point of view, we have hope for the future. When Figo was fading away and we looked at the team that was remaining, there wasn't much hope. Going into Euro 2008, going to the World Cup 2010, there wasn't much hope. And then the 2016 team did something that we didn't expect.
An anomaly.
In winning. Yes. Yeah, that was a huge anomaly. But for the first time in Portuguese football history, I say first or second time, because if you look in the 80s, Paulo Futuri's group, there was a good chunk. It just didn't work out on national team level. But this time, you are looking at a World Cup. This time, Portugal doesn't even have to think about the conversation of whether they will qualify to the World Cup or not. They are going, and they are getting out of the groups. They are reaching the latter stages of competition. So just about that magic factor. And it comes with experience. Bruno Fernandes, Bernardo Silva, Ruben Diaz, these guys have played multiple competitions, and they are the ones who are now going to carry them out. I will not be surprised if they win a trophy.
Okay, so we are yet to get formal announcements, even though it's been said subtly that, Cristiano is seeing his last international tournament and all of that.
Not the tournament. You see, people want to twist it. It's the Euros. As for the World Cup 2026, we are going. There's nothing anybody can do about it. Ronaldo is going to the World Cup 2026. If you like, we can bet. No coach will dare drop him for that World Cup because it is not just important for Portugal as a nation, it is also important for FIFA. The competition is important for America, Mexico, Canada, that Ronaldo is there. So he's going. That is the last international competition we'll see him in. But for the Euros, this is the last.
Are you happy with his performance in these Euros?
He's the greatest player.
No, are you happy with this performance?
I don't care.
No, are you happy with his performance?
No, but you not caring is not a good answer.
No, you see, it is a very funny and disingenuous question to ask me. Now you spark me, so allow me to finish. This is a very funny and disingenuous question to ask me. We are talking about a player who is 39 years old. And then you ask the question, are you happy with this?
But whenever I bring this topic, you're like, no, he's still fit. He's still this, he's still that.
His career.
Yes.
Now, let me ask you a question. When Ronaldinho went to Brazil for his last seasons, did anybody talk about what he was doing in Brazil? When a player is in the twilight of his career, you talk about what he's done in his career. Nobody was talking about, are you happy with what Cruz has done in this competition? Everybody is praising Cruz for what he's done in his career. Nobody's
but he hasn't been underwhelming in this
competition. We were talking about the player Modric and what he has achieved.
And what he has achieved. Okay. Point well made. So it means that we haven't seen the last of Ronaldo yet. We're going to see him in the qualifiers, and we possibly are going to see him at the next World Cup.
Yes. Like they have no better striker than him. Like obviously his record, they speak for themselves. And but like I said, I have already stated my opinion here. I don't feel he should be starting anymore. Not because it's not good, but because of the way this Portuguese team are playing at the moment, their pattern of play, the ideas that they have, it's not favoring Ronaldo at the moment, in spite of his monstrous mentality on the pitch and how fit he looks like. And that is why he has played 5 games. He hasn't scored a goal. He played all these matches as a centre forward. And when you look at these numbers, it's not good for Cristiano Ronaldo. And that is why I feel starting for Portugal going forward will not be prudent. That doesn't mean he's a bad player, but just to get the best out of him, you don't start him in this Portuguese team with the players they have. All
right, so now let's talk about Spain beating Germany by 2-1. And Spain, once again, giving us, that reminder that they are here and they are here to make a major statement. Major statement could be winning the trophy, as some pundits have already put it. But let's go back to the highlights and see how they executed that, closing or that, demolition of the German machine. And then after that, we'll do some analysis. When you're on the losing side, it's painful. But the biggest image for me from the fun park, is that fan who was just, face down and the cup of beer. Away from all of this, the numbers for these beverage sponsors and beverage partners is crazy. And this is the biggest time for any manufacturer to distribute.
Yeah, it's a huge part of the German culture. Huge part of the English culture. Coming into Germany.
And that's why the sanctioning bodies prefer these teams to be around this type of the competition.
Yes. Because it means more money and more of these reactions. I don't know if you saw the video of the English one sleeping with a beer cup on his head. So gone. It's sad. It's sad. Some of these things, when you are outside it, but when you put yourself in your shoe, remember that just in January, we didn't even reach the knockout rounds. We were kicked out in the group stages because somebody decided to touch the ball when it was going out. It's kind of very painful when you look at these things and it reminds you of that feeling, but it is what it is.
Well, Germany, gone as well.
Yes, Nat, I think we did some detailed analysis here on Friday. I think whatever we said came to pass. For Germany is they can't be ashamed of themselves. I think they've been very impressive in this tournament as compared to the last few tournaments that they played in exiting the group stages. This tournament has been very good for them. We've seen the young players doing very well, those who were experienced as well, playing really good football. The coach, we've seen his potential, what he has, and I think German football really looks bright at the moment. In the game on Friday, was it? I said it here on Friday that I wasn't so comfortable with the attacking prowess of the German national team. I mentioned Havertz that he's had many chances in this tournament, but he hasn't been clinical at all, and that could hunt the diamond shaft. And indeed, it happened. He had some chance, he didn't score. Germany, we spoke here that the game will be full of chances, and we saw many chances in that game. Spain themselves had theirs, but I think they were clinical. They had 2 goals. And one key thing about this Spanish national team is that almost every player can score. I mentioned here on Friday. You look at the German team, you look at their goal scorers, just Musiala, he's got 3, Füllkrug 2, I think Havertz has got 2 as well. Yes, penalties, right.
While there are no goals.
Well, there are goals. So the German national team, most of their goals came from certain individuals. If those individuals don't come to the party, they will struggle to score. Unlike the Spanish national teams, their goal scorers are scattered across. Dan Olmo can score, Morata can score, Nico can score, Rodri can come up with a goal. So almost every player in the team can score goals. And I think that thing was very key for Spain against Germany on Friday.
Very well. So Germany seem to be on a good path. They are sort of rehashing, rebuilding, and we should see the best of them, especially in the remaining qualifiers and all of that for the World Cup.
Yeah, it's very painful, and I'll make the statement. Sometimes competitions are not fair, and that's why I believe that it's not every winner of a competition that is the best team in the competition. Because we had two of the teams that play the best football in the group stages finding themselves in one side of the draw. Then they meet in the quarterfinals, and only one of them will progress to a semi-final. And you have a completely rubbish side of the draw, which has teams like Turkey and England, and who did England face? Switzerland and who will probably not have passed the round of 16 in the other side of the draw, which is, you see, it's fact. And that's why most often than not, you look at the last Euros, when England passed that, facing Ukraine and co and reaching the final, you're facing an Italy team that had beaten Spain and the big boys. Of course you lose. You look at the Champions League final this year, Real Madrid beating Manchester City, Bayern Munich reaching the final, and Dortmund, you beat PSG and co. You think you win, you lose because you don't deserve to be there. In my objective opinion, the draw can be favorable to certain teams, but the god of football will talk at the end of the day. It's very painful when you see the left side of, look at the teams on the left side of the draw, and look at some of the matches on the right side. You just slip through them. You slip through them because they are just boring and they are not competitive. We are literally having the semi-final in the right side of the draw is equivalent to like a round of 16 game in the left side of the draw. That's how tough some of the fixtures were. But yeah, it's football, and sometimes these things happen. But obviously, the god of football, as I said, will speak at the end of the day, and we will get our winner from the left. It must happen.
Okay, so the winner is coming from the left.
It must happen from the left.
From the left.
Even if it's from the right, it will be the team that has the similar colors as France.
Okay, so let's quickly take a look at the remaining quarterfinal games, and then after that we'll look at how it's all gone for England and for the Netherlands. You are suggesting that England are just in by virtue of luck.
Let Daniel begin.
Based on the football they played against Switzerland, no. But based on the football they've played throughout the competition, I think they've been lucky. Had they faced a much better opposition before, I don't think they would have reached this stage. But as I said, it's sometimes a draw favors you. You have to beat who's in front of you. You can't fault them for that. But to be frank, I think they played a good game against Switzerland on Saturday. That's the best game they've played. Proper tournament football. They were very well structured, defended really good. For the first time this competition, we didn't see Switzerland at their fluid best. England were able to keep them at bay. And it would have been injustice, at least that's how I feel, if Saka didn't get that equalizer. I think a draw was a fair reflection of the game. And England slightly nudged it. And if you are slightly nudged it, then it's only right to win on penalties.
And it's interesting that Saka himself is a man who now is powering the effort on a crucial day like this, because the last time, England got together on a stage like this, Saka was the villain. Yes,
and himself, Rashford, and then Jadon Sancho, I think there were three of them, three blacks. And look, as I said here the last time, missing a penalty is normal in football. It can happen, and it will happen. What is important is how you recover from that, and I think the confidence he had to be part of the penalty takers was very good. He atoned for his mistake, and I think England can be proud of their progression. I mean, scoring all 5 penalties with really good balls, the kind of penalties these players played, it was wonderful, not very, very good. You can talk about Cole Palmer. 3 of the 5 penalty takers are penalty takers for their clubs. So Cole Palmer for Chelsea, Saka for Arsenal, and then Ivan Toney for Brentford. And Toney's record, some of the players, their records are amazing. Ivan Toney has scored 37 out of 40 penalties. Okay, 37 out of 40. Palmer has scored 99 for Chelsea. In all his career, 15 out of 15. That is incredible. Saka, like I said, he learns from the last Euros. And Alexander-Arnold, we all know of his technical ability. So just 12 or 8 yards out can't be a problem for him.
So we're still here on Euros today. In a minute, we'll be taking a listen to Karim, and also we'll be giving away that prize. Like I said, just be observant, just read very, very clearly, and make sure you understand the question so we can give you a prize from NASCO. This is Euros today, and it's here on Joy Prime. More to discuss immediately after these messages. Okay. So there is a lot to do right now, between now and the end of the show. A lot of analysis to do and a lot of figures to talk about. Let's bring Karim in at this moment while we get ourselves ready for, and there's some...
Wow.
Yeah, there's applause.
I feel like I could Karim today.
Karim, you're a rock star. Everybody...
Wow. I thank God you are fine. I also thank God you are fine. Hey, that, you saw the German fans you were showing on the screen.
Yeah.
We had some of them here, even in this studio.
Yeah.
On Saturday.
On Saturday. Bernard, let's go. Hey. Wow. I really thank God you are fine. See, who is that?
Is that me?
You don't recognize yourself anymore.
I don't. You see, he's still not okay, but he's fine.
Oh, yeah.
On Saturday, he didn't want to do the show.
No, at all. I wanted to go home.
Oh.
If I wanted to do the show, or I was happy, then I'm a sinner. Yes.
Because your people had been let down.
My guy has been...
The South African coach will tell you that football can kill you. Football
kill you. It can kill you. So this is the presentation you give me.
Yes, I want the people to see you. So we've seen you. You remember my Chinese friend, Lua Tu, from the airport?
Yes, you told me about Lua Tu.
Yes. A Chinese philosopher. He says that he who knows that enough is enough will always have enough. Do I need to explain?
No.
Yes. Let's go.
All right, let's go. What do we have here today?
He who knows enough is enough will get away from the scene on high praise. Play like Tony Cruz. Still, a lot of clubs will pay a lot of money for him to play for them, but he has decided that it's enough for him. He's quitting football.
That's true.
But someone is chasing history to become the oldest player to score at the Euros.
And it didn't happen.
Disgrace.
Okay.
And it's ending in disgrace. A lot of people will not agree with me, and I know, but still, it will go on. Look at this game. When the game got to 90 minutes, did we even need to bother to go to extra time? We didn't need to, because we know that if we had gone on, it will still go on, but none of them will still score. In 90 minutes, the two teams, France and Portugal, combined 99 non-penalty shots, and none has scored. Look at the XG. Portugal were always like the team that has controlled the game. I was really disappointed with how France played out. Look at it. Portugal had an expected goal of 1.7. It means that they were expected to score 2 goals, but they were wasteful enough. One decent chance fell to the player I'm talking about, Ronaldo, and he missed it. And that is, don't let me mention that. Look at the shots. This is throughout the extra time. In 120 minutes, Portugal managed 15 shots and France 20. In the first half, both teams managed just 5 shots, 2 for Portugal and 3 for France. But from the 60th minute to the 67th minute, there were 7 shots. It means that every 1 minute there was a shot. But in the whole of the first half, there were only 5 shots.
Very well.
That is a bit of something a lot of fans yearn to see. Even if you are not scoring and they are seeing that they are trying, they will be excited. And just 4 on target for Portugal and 5 on target for France. And let's look at possession. This is not surprising. 60% possession for Portugal and 40% for France. Throughout the tournament, the team that is averaging the most possession is Portugal. If you are looking at their average possession up to this point, they are averaging 66.9% of possession. But it is what they are doing with it. Nothing. In the 3 games they have played up to their exit, they've not scored any goal in them. And that is the first time they are doing that in a major tournament. Now this is it. The disgrace we are seeing. Ronaldo, after 5 games, he has started all of them and rarely got substituted, when a lot of us were thinking that he should be coming off the bench or maybe used as an impact sub. He's a big player, no surprising thing about that. 23 shots he has attempted the most by any player at the Euros, and the most since 2010, when Messi attempted that 29 at the World Cup without scoring. He also attempted 23 here without scoring. He was expected to score 4 goals here, but his conversion rate, as at now, is 0.
It's 0. It's not as
Yes.
now. It's gone. So.
He's gone,
Yeah,
so
his conversion rate was 0. It's not,
he needed to know that.
you know, I'm saying he's not in the competition anymore.
Yes.
So it's more of grammar.
He's gone with disgrace, so that is it. And now, there's something I want to look at. Let's go to Spain. Spain and Germany, in this game, the goals themselves are history. Mikel Merino, is it Merino?
Merino.
The goal he scored in the 119th minute. It is the third latest to be scored at the Euros. The 119th minute. That the second was also against for Michel Platini, 119th minute for France when they beat Portugal 3-2 at the 84 Euros, and they won that. And then Atim Dovvik for Ukraine against Sweden at the 2020 Euros in the 121st minute, and they also didn't make it out of there. Then look at this game. A player like Lamine Yamal, he created 3 chances in this game, and those 3 chances meant that in the whole of the competition, he's created 14 chances, and he's only 16. It means that he's the youngest player since Opta has started recording data to create 14 chances. There's no player that is younger than him and has created more. Let me leave it here. Tomorrow we'll do more.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Karim. And more to come here. We're about to give away a prize, so get yourselves ready to call, answer the question correctly, and then we'll get down to the business of giving away the prize from NASCO. This is Euros Today, right here on Joy Prime. Stay with us. All right, so the conversations are ongoing here. It's amazing. Well, electronic appliances from NASCO are always the best. So we've got this pressing iron. We're giving it away. And it is for this very, very simple question. If you give me the answer, it's as simple as that. You'd have to look at the number on your screen and call. And once you're able to get the answer, bingo. So tell me the name of the goalkeeper who had the highest number of clean sheets at the last Euro tournament held in Hungary and the like in 2020. Okay, so in the year 2020 that tournament was held. So there we go. Just let us know. 2021, beg your pardon. Of course, it was transferred to 2021 because of COVID. So let us know the goalkeeper who had the most clean sheets at that tournament. Name him, and this from NASCO will be yours. It's as simple as that. Okay, gentlemen, while we wait for the first caller to call in, it's shaped up pretty nicely. And so the Netherlands will have to go up against England, and Spain will have to go up against France. Some very tricky and interesting ties, isn't it?
Yes. It's quite unfortunate that Germany are not part of the last four, to be honest. The first match to me is a mismatch because France, overall, they haven't been good in this tournament, and they are squandering the little chances they are creating. Their star boy, Mbappe, is not 100% impressive in this competition. But you look at Spain, they are everything France are not. So for me, that match is clearly a mismatch. But to the Netherlands and England game, that will be a game to watch because the two teams are more or less average. They are on the same level. But you just look at the way England are just grinding results, and maybe they might get to the final because they are not playing particularly well, but they are imposing themselves in moments. They are creating moments, and they are making the best out of those moments. And for me, to win a competition, like Daniel said, you don't need to be the best team. You just need to be the best in moments.
Yeah, or you don't necessarily need to have the highest scoring player
Exactly. Yes.
To win this. So for you, you'd feel or you'd prefer that England gets to the
Not
final?
that I would prefer, but from the way things are happening, trend analysis, England can just nick it and get to the final.
All right. Before we come to this, do you agree with me, Daniel? Daniel, before we go, let's get on the phone now and speak to Abdel. Abdel, thank you for joining us. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. So I'd like you to just answer this very simple question. Which goalkeeper recorded the highest number of clean sheets at the last Euro tournament?
Pickford.
Pickford is correct. Jordan Pickford is correct. Congratulations to you. This is yours. You'd have to hold on and speak to my producer to get your details so that you come and collect this from NASCO. Thank you very much, is what we say to NASCO, for always making this segment lit and exciting. So congratulations. It was a very simple, straightforward one. Remember, you'd always have to be next to your keypad and dial the number once you see the question, because it's first come, first serve, and answer correctly basis. Okay, so you were telling me what your answer is for this particular one. Who you prefer to get in there to the final?
Who I prefer?
Yes, which team you'd prefer? Yes, just like you would prefer Portugal if they were here.
Well, if I go England, will go out in the group stages, but they are here, so yeah, I prefer the Netherlands quality.
We don't work.
Okay, you think the Netherlands will give us a better final than England in terms of football quality?
I prefer.
Yeah.
And I prefer that.
Okay, so who do you think?
If it was Yugoslavia, I'll still choose whoever it is against England. I'll choose the
Okay, so it's more of your bias against England.
Yeah, because that's the question you asked me. So
Okay, who do you think? Who do you think?
Who do I think will qualify? I think it will be a very tough game. I think England will beat the Netherlands.
Okay, all right. So let's come to this tie. France going up against Spain. You rated Spain very highly ahead of the start of the tournament.
They are playing the best football in the competition. And for the first time in the competition against Germany, I saw them under pressure. I saw them struggle to handle the intensity. And now that came in the last 20 minutes when Germany were going route one. And that is a style of football I knew, and we all knew that Spain struggled to defend against. France are not stupid. They have studied the Spain team. They are not going to try, just like against Portugal, they are not going to try and dominate the ball and match the Spaniards. They will be very pragmatic. And with the likes of Thuram and Giroud, I think that the French have it in store to shock this Spaniard team. They have the know-how. And again, Deschamps is a very experienced manager. He has the tools on the bench, the tools in the squad that will be able to punish this Spaniard team. Expect a dominant Spain performance, but a France win.
A dominant Spain performance, but a France win. Mubarak, before we wrap up, let me know what's your take on this one as well. We'll be coming back to do some analysis.
Spain.
Okay, so it's torn here. There's some sort of agreement here between the two of you, but over here, one is for Spain, one is for France, isn't it?
Yes.
You prefer, you think that Spain based on the football so far?
Yeah, I think Spain, because France, I think the teams that France have defeated showed France so much respect, and that clearly played into the hands of France. But for Spain, they are just on you, and once they are on you, they are going to create chances, and once they create chances, they are going to score. They've done that in all the 5 games they've played, so yes.
All right, so this will be very, very tough. And Spain going up against France and Netherlands going up against England. So we see who makes it to the very big final. Yeah. All right, so in terms of Spain-France, there's something as well about, eventual output. But I'm very sure that we're going to do this. We're going to continue this tomorrow when we come back, because one of the games will be played tomorrow in the evening at 7 p.m. Of course, do remember that we're bringing you live commentary on our radio platforms across the multimedia platforms in partnership with SportyBet and SportyBet and their partners as well. So SportyBet, remember, is the official rights owner, and we're glad to be rights holders for the radio commentary. So follow this program and others on all of our platforms, and you can also follow some of the selected games, including the big final that we're expecting on channel 36 of your digital television. All of this by courtesy of SportyBet and Sporty TV. All right, thank you all so much for watching. We'll be back tomorrow to bring you another Euros Today show right here on this channel. And congratulations to our winner, Abdel. More to come. My name is Nathaniel Atto, and I have love for sport.